Please, we need help. We don't know what's going on. My name is Bruckner.
My name is Adeloso.
And it's your boy DJ SJ614, and we are the New York Dolls. We are here at the Morris-Jumel mansion, about to do a paranormal investigation.
Why am I here?
Oh my God, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Oh God, no. No. You guys have salt, iron, EMF detectors, angel blades, demon blades.
Well, let me lay this stuff out first, all right? So that's a better presentation.
Has anyone here done a paranormal? This is my first time. Yeah, I don't even know what you do.
I gotta see which one is more sensitive. That's the one we'll use. Oh, I gotta get the REM pod.
Bruh.
Bro. Guys, I just want to let you know that I am a pussy, so.
Guys, I want to let you know that when I didn't like heights and I had to climb the stairs at Dumbo and I was about to throw up, now you know how I feel.
Well, I have always said that when I have kids, like, they're not gonna know that I do this until like they're 18. I'm gonna like put a bag over their head, bring them in the garage, like, it's time you've learned the truth. And I pulled the bag off, they're like, I'm gonna be like, you don't know where you are. I'm like, we're in the garage. What are we doing, Dad? I'll be like, oh. So you know those poker games I go to? I don't even know how to play poker. What?
2.5 weeks. Yeah, the numbers.
I've always been afraid to watch something like that. Yeah, I've never watched Poltergeist. Anything where there's like a demon or someone who's possessed, I get scared.
Yeah, seriously. Very quickly, you'll see that it's just like a lecture, just like anything else. It's meant to be informative, a very casual dialogue about what could be. And yeah, so that's basically it. So we'll get started. My name is Vinny Carbone. I work as a public programming and events manager here at the Morris-Jumel Mansion in New York City in Washington Heights. And since starting to work here over the last 2 years, I've been developing our public program, our public investigations, paranormal investigations. The ghost stories at this mansion go back all the way to the 1800s when Eliza Jamel, our longest resident of the house, moved in, and she claimed to hear voices, footsteps, all kinds of things at night, and they really picked up after she passed away. And the stories go all the way up until just literally yesterday. So with that said, there's always been a public interest in this topic, especially at this house. So we figured, you know, what better way to get the name out and get the word out about what we do here than by just hosting it ourselves. This is not something that I got tasked with and I got stuck doing. This is something that I've been doing since about 2011. Outside of here, I investigate with a group called Gotham Paranormal Research Society. I've given lectures at a couple of different places, Columbia's Teachers College and stuff like that. I've investigated in Kentucky, Salem, Gettysburg, Long Island, New York City, upstate New York. So I've been really fortunate with this, and it's a pretty wacky hobby, but what the hell. Anyway, so we're gonna get started here. I'm gonna show you some of the tools that we use. Pretty common, pretty basic setup. Just like any other hobby, you know, you could really invest a lot of money into it, but there's no need to do that. you just need a few things and it's a pretty good set. First and foremost, the common denominator with all of these things is that you'll see a lot of them have to do with the manipulation of electricity. So just going down the line right here, very common tool. This is a K2 meter, also known as an EMF detector. And this was not initially made for ghost hunting. It was made for plumbers and electricians to look for faulty wiring in walls and things like that when they're working in crawl spaces. And it's believed that if a spirit or entity moves by it, around it, touches it, it spikes. So you'll see these colors go from green to orange, yellow to red. So we're going to be using these tonight. This is a vibration ball. All right, it's a pretty simple device. You just turn it on, and once it stops, okay, if anything's around it or near it, so you see how much force it takes, but if anything goes near it, it lights up like that, okay? This is a REM pod. All right, so this picks up static electricity based off of this antenna right here. So keep an eye on all of these little knobs right here. All right, so the closer I get to this antenna, okay, so you hear the difference in the tone as it gets closer, okay, so this is static electricity. Extremely rare that this has ever gone off. As I said, I've investigated Waverly Hills Sanatorium in Kentucky and Gettysburg and Salem. And the only time I've ever seen this device go off has been about 2 to 3 times, and it's all been at this house. This right here is a motion sensor light. Pretty simple. If anything moves from here to here, this little sensor right here picks it up and it just lights up like that. We usually set this up on a staircase away from us, so we know we're not, and we point it away from us so we know we're not setting it off. We've had some pretty cool activity with these other places, but here as well. I'm just going to turn this off. We did an investigation here for Morris-Jumel's birthday, and we ended in the basement, and we had set these up on the stairs, and I had said, okay, jokingly, I was like, would you like us to go upstairs and have cake? Because I'd gotten a Carvel cake, and so, and by clockwork, the one on the bottom step went off, and then the one on the top step went off, as if someone was going up. Conversely, I was using these in Gettysburg at a house in which a young woman had been shot by her boyfriend, and we set these up on the stairs, and I had a K2 meter so it was like a flight of stairs, and then I had a K2 meter at the bottom of the stairs, and the one at the top went off, the one on the bottom went off, and then the K2 meter flashed in the room as if someone was coming down the stairs. Other really cool experience I had was in Salem. We were investigating a firehouse in which the basement used to be an entranceway for the Underground Railroad, and I'd set this up by the entrance, behind the brick wall, in a separate room from where we were, and within a few minutes it went off, as if someone was like walking by it. So pretty cool. This right here is a laser grid pen. Andy, could you get that light for me please on the door? Alright, so take a look at the ceiling. Alright, so you can change the broadcast of the dots. The idea is that you would use this in a large space, and you're going to see anything move in front of it. Obviously you'll see a silhouette like that, or a mist or a smoke kind of go by it. Yeah, cats love it. But yeah, so that's a pretty simple device. And if you could get the lights, please. And then just lastly, we just have a few flashlights. The only really cool one that I have is this black light flashlight. Okay. Quite honestly, you would use this in a place like a hospital or a prison. You're gonna look for blood, things like that. You know, it might give you an idea. Yep, hotel. Never use that at a hotel. You might look for things like fingerprints, any things like that, whether it be on furniture or something. And then the other two are just regular flashlights. So pretty simple devices. Anyone have any questions about what you see here? Yes.
In what case would using the black light give evidence of a supernatural activity?
So there's a few reasons why we would use this on an investigation. One, it's not so harsh on the eyes of your team members. That's one. Two, it's not so harsh on a camera. But as far as using it for the actual investigation itself, let's say there was a claim that in a prison someone was stabbed to death or whatever. So you're gonna go into that room, you're gonna look to see the blood and be like, okay, this is the room. It's as simple as that. Also, it really just helps when you're in the dark, rather than having a harsh white light. Now, as far as investigating in the dark, a lot of people ask, why is that necessary? It's not. A lot of times they do that for TV, just for effect. Other times they do it because they have what could be, camera equipment that I don't have, like IR cameras, infrared, stuff like that. But you can investigate in the middle of the day, it's fine. With that said, we can go as dark as y'all want. We could say light like this, it's up to you guys. It's always up to your comfort level. We obviously have to have some element of light because it's a museum and I can't have things being broken, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Yes, ma'am.
So, okay, so these ghosts that we're gonna possibly encounter, is it friendly ghosts? Is it like, now I just wanna know, like, is it like disrupting them, or is it like you said, like when they passing, like, is it just them passing, or like they're just walking around, or are they like making it known that we see you,
So that's a very common question, and I have a few responses. One is that I've never been dead, so I don't know what ghosts think. But with that said, you have two kinds of hauntings, two categories of hauntings. You have residual and intelligent. And a residual haunting is kind of like, if I was to say, I see a little boy cross the hallway every night at 9 o'clock. And it just kind of does it on its own. It doesn't interact with us. That's a residual haunting. An intelligent haunting is if I say, make this K2 meter light up, please. And it lights up. That's directly interacting with a request from myself. Also, the majority of the claims here at the house seem to be residual, as in they just do their own thing, and if we capture them, we capture them,
right.
If we witness them, we do. We have had some evidence of intelligent hauntings as well. I'm going to share something with you guys that was just captured 3 weeks ago on a private investigation that I did with my team here. What we captured was what's called an EVP, electrical voice phenomena, and of all the investigations that I've been on since 2011, this by far is not only the most present and the most clear, it's also the scariest. It was captured in Aaron Burr's room. They heard it earlier. The guys on my team have been sharing it since last night because that's when it was discovered, and we've been trying to debunk it because any good investigator should debunk. That's, you shouldn't jump right to, oh my God, that's a ghost. You should try to debunk as, come up with a logical answer to what just happened. And we can't. We've isolated the sound, we've stretched it out, we've tried to, decipher what it is, and we can't. So.
What was said?
So I'm going to play it for you right now if you want to hear it.
Oh, wow. That's not like that. Yeah.
See if anything turns up. Dude, should we go to the
Some guys have been saying it sounds like they're going to laugh at you. I thought he said he doesn't love you. Get it out of here is another one. So here's the difficult thing about that. And this is an example of something, a psychological anomaly. It's called pareidolia. And, we all heard the same thing, the same clip, the same audio clip, but we all interpret it to be different things, right? So that could also be, to that end, I could say, oh my God, you see that shadow at the end of the hallway? If I say that long enough and very convincingly, you're gonna think that there's a shadow at the end of the hallway. I can, if I'm good at speech or whatever, I can make you think what I want you to think. If I say, oh, it's so cold in here, it's, whatever, I can physically make you think that it's cold in here. But yeah, so we're still trying to figure that out. That was captured in Aaron Burr's room. And that room has been very active in the last couple of weeks. Yeah. So last thing I want to show you before we get started, this is a photograph that was taken about a year ago. We had a masquerade ball here, and we had hired a photographer. And it was raining very heavy that night, and this was taken when the rain had stopped, and he was out front and he took 3 photographs. This is the middle of the 3 photographs. In the first photograph and the second photograph, you don't see anything. But in this middle photograph, right here on the porch, is a very humanoid looking shape. See it right there? I showed this to him recently because the guy actually happens to be one of the investigators on the team, and he said, Vin, there was no one on that deck when I took the picture. I wouldn't have taken it. I would have waited for them to move. So
This looks weird here too.
Everyone points that out, it's just a reflection of this.
Okay.
Yeah, right, but this is the weird thing right
Who
there.
do you think it is?
I don't know.
Who do you think you are?
So,
Reveal yourself.
yeah. So does anyone have any questions?
No, let's do this. Let's
Right.
just do this.
We're gonna be fine. So what I'm gonna have y'all do is I'm gonna give you some, so what I also want to say, being that it's such a small group, we don't usually do, I mean, I invite guests to do EVP or, digital recordings on their phone with their voice memo. I don't usually do it with my public investigations because there's so many people and the noise contamination is crazy. But being that it's such a small group, we can certainly do it, no problem. If you all want to see what you capture, that's cool. What I will advise is don't whisper, because that could be misconstrued later on when you're going back to listen. There's this like psychological thing that when you're in a dark room, you're like, hey, did you hear that? Yeah, I still do it, just speak normally. If you get frightened, scared, whatever, try not to scream, okay? Because that's gonna scare the hell out of me.
Abby.
You get scared, Vinny?
Oh, yeah, I'm the biggest puss. Anyway. Pull up. Anyway. You gonna be okay? Have you ever gone on an investigation?
No.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, again, who here has been on an investigation before? Just Andy?
Just me.
Okay, excellent. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kill the lights on this first floor. Cool, but I'm gonna keep the room lights on in the period rooms because we're actually gonna go into the rooms themselves, okay? Cool. Also, let's have y'all take one of these.
Maybe get the lanterns. The lanterns.
There you go. You're not gonna need it, you're gonna have flashlights.
Okay.
A little more modern, Abby.
I want to be like.
Okay. Alright, so let's all just head into the hallway and spread out. Not all at once, go ahead.